Welcome to the Circle of Love and Light. I'm Jane Mountrose, your host, and I'm here today with my partner and husband, Phillip Mountrose. Together we direct Awakenings Institute, a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to creating a more loving world. So, of course, love and light is a good focus for us. We've been exploring the fields of personal and spiritual growth for more than 3 decades now as coaches, hypnotherapists, healers, and ministers. And we're always interested in exploring ways to create more miraculous, abundant, and joyful lives. Today, we're having a special circle, and we're focusing on making every day a miracle. This is something that we've been doing ourselves with some wonderful results. So we have a simple approach. It only takes a few minutes a day, and you can open to having more miracles in your life. It's a wonderful thing. And surprising things happen. We'll talk a little bit about that. So we're here now live on Enlightened World Network on Facebook and on YouTube. And we're at facebook.com/Enlightened World Network, where you can find us each Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon Eastern time. And you can also watch the video of the circle anytime after that at Awakening Circle of Love and Light on Facebook at facebook.com/Awakening Circle. We also have a channel on YouTube where you can go. So today we're going to start with a discussion on what we've gained from focusing more on miracles basically as a daily spiritual practice. And we'll have a meditation with some of the beings of light who support us so lovingly and help us to create miracles. And finally, open to the opportunity to share all of our collective love and light out to the world. So that's our format. And just a couple things before we begin with today's focus. First, I want to thank you for joining us. Your contributions, wherever you are in the world, whoever you are valuable. The world needs more love and light. And if you just imagine if everyone was coming from a place of love, all of our problems basically would be gone almost instantaneously. So we have that to look forward to. And also, before we begin, I just want to take a moment to center ourselves. This is Buddy who's joining us. And if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, just close your eyes for a moment and breathe. Nice breaths, imagining breathing in that love and light from all the beings of light who are with us, and there are many. And feeling yourself being more present in your body in this moment so we can experience this time together to the fullest. That's wonderful. Thank you. So to begin today, I want to thank Phillip for joining me and ask you if you would start us off by defining what you consider to be a miracle, just so we have an idea, a collective idea of what we're talking about and what that means to you.
Sure. Thanks, Jane. Great being here with the Circle of Light and Love again. And it's a wonderful offering for people to uplift their spirits and get some practical strategies and things to do today and going forward. Miracles, since we're talking about miracles, it seemed good to define a little bit from the left brain, and of course, integrating with our right brain and our heart. What are miracles? I think the two best descriptions that we've come across is, on the one hand, you'd say it's anything that's exceeding what you thought was going to happen, or maybe even what you thought was possible. That's one idea of a miracle that seems very valid and tangible. And the other is something just totally unexpected, wonderfully happening. Of course, it's on the positive. So something was off the radar that you couldn't imagine happening. A couple more thoughts following up with that, and we did write about the idea of miracles in our book, The Ultimate Paradigm Shift, too, going further into that. So miracles, a lot of what life is on earth is about security and safety. And so miracles might be about making us more secure and safe when we were at risk in some ways. And sometimes it may just be uplifting us to a wonderful new level of reality and experience. So it's bringing, another way of saying it, it's bringing the higher into the lower, bringing heaven into earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be for security and safety, but it might be for creativity. It might be for just higher awareness, more joy and bliss in your everyday life, more realistic optimism, and making that really tangible. I thought of something I wanted to share with people that really relates kind of an interesting way to this. Is I subscribe to something called the Good Newsletter. It's sort of good news. It comes out Tuesday. It's from Good. And it gives stories of things going on in the world that is good news. And if you look at it from the miracle viewpoint, I think it can be illuminating. I'm going to mention just two of the stories from this week in the context of miracles real briefly. So one is an invention. So anytime there's an invention, that you might say is a miracle, something that wasn't there before. The light bulb, I mean, when there are only candles, that would be a miracle. Here's the one that was reported this week in Good Newsletter. A new invention turns ocean water into drinking water using less power than a cell phone charger.
Wow.
There's a story on that. So that's, and so we're inventing things in our life, and it might not be as world changing as that, but it just could be little ways. Wow, I never thought I could do something this way. I could make a simple change. That's incredible. Something incredible, something that's wondrous, something that is up from kind of bringing the higher into the lower. And the second example from Good Newsletter is a social justice example. And the headline is Karine Jean-Pierre will make history as the first ever Black and first openly LGBTQ plus person to serve as the White House press secretary. So without, politics aside, just when there's social justice, I mean, at a certain point, Blacks were not considered people, women couldn't vote, and all these things that, nowadays that people are having rights, it's sort of miraculous. It seems like it should be normal, but given the structure of things, when a breakthrough occurs, you might view that as a miracle too. What do you think, Jane?
I agree. Actually, it's interesting. It made me think when you said that about gay rights and gay marriage. Mm-hmm. And when that was really up 15 years ago or whatever, I was thinking, well, gee, this is going to take a long time. And it seemed like nothing was happening. And then all of a sudden there was this burst of something. Breakthrough. And it happened really quickly. So if we focus on miracles and we view ourselves as creators, I think that we may be surprised, both in our own lives and also in the world at large, what is possible. Because I also believe the thing about the water, I also believe that as we rise in vibration, more breakthroughs are going to come easily. Things that couldn't happen when we're all kind of wallowing in the mud together in fear and focused on limitations. Why not go the other way?
The Good Newsletter.
Yeah, yeah, I love
the Miracle Newsletter. Miracle Newsletter.
Right. That's beautiful. And we've both been actually doing a simple practice that we're going to share with you to open to miracles every day. We have a process using EFT, the emotional freedom techniques, that we've been doing it for probably 20 years or so, at least a couple decades. And people have reported really wonderful results. Most recently, we just decided we would focus on this every morning. And we use a phrase, which I'll mention now, just kind of to have that floating in your mind a little bit. The phrase is, I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. Actually, just saying it makes me smile. And I've found, and a lot of people have, that if you just repeat it 4 or 5 times, it's like everything looks different. It raises your vibration, and then you're actually vibrating with those things you want, the abundance, the joy, whatever it is, the purpose. it all resonates at that same level. So that's really exciting. And one of the things we also decided to do, I think separately, because we don't actually do our meditations together, we do them in our own time, was to draw an oracle card each day along with the miracle. And what I was thinking myself was I wanted to invite an angel to join me in the miracle reframe, and I wasn't sure which one I would want to have. So I decided I would draw a card. I have this Angel Wisdom Tarot Oracle that we recommend this a lot, and I'll mention a little more about it later. So I drew a card from the major arcana, which are the larger patterns, larger archetypal patterns affecting our lives. I drew a card from that on the first day to go along with my miracle reframe. And the card I got was actually, if you're familiar with the tarot, the zero card is generally called the Fool. And in the Angel Wisdom Tarot, it's called the Dreamer, which I like because it's that starting point. The idea of the Fool is that it is a being who has no knowledge of anything but a lot of enthusiasm and is just moving forward freely, with no reservations, just kind of everything is new. And I thought it mentioned that having a fresh perspective, which I thought, gosh, that makes sense every day to start with a fresh perspective. And if you want miracles, especially, to be open, who knows what might happen. It could be better than we could possibly imagine. And so I shared that with Philip, and he told me the one that he got the first day. Would you like to tell us which one that was?
Yes, mine was the Dreamer, the same card, the zero card, the Fool card, and which also was surprising because in recent times, in using the Oracle, Jane and I just finished a course, Abundant Living with Angels, Oracles, and EFT, where we were teaching this more intensely. I rarely get the Dreamer, if ever, for whatever reason, but today I got it the same day that Jane did, that we did also the miracle reframe, which I took it as kind of a new beginning in the world, anything is possible idea.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And in the description, it mentioned something about opening to epiphanies, which I really, I love that word. And it to me seemed to connect with synchronicity. And so the goal then would be to, in a place where synchronous opportunities might emerge, which is that place, I call it actually pure potential, where who knows, and connected with the love in your heart, which helps to connect you with your true being as a soul. Then you're in a really wonderful place for miracles to emerge and to have epiphanies. That's one thing I appreciate about adding the oracles, is they add some content to it. So now we're connecting miracles with this idea. And the angel connected with that also is one who I relate really closely to, which is Archangel Metatron. And Archangel Metatron is considered to be, by many, the highest of the archangels. He is actually at the top of the tree of life in the Kabbalah, and is just this amazing being of light. We can invite him here now. He may be with us already. Many angels are around us here. I always imagine him as a being that emanates a beautiful golden white luminous light. And it does feel miraculous if you just open to that, feeling it around you. Feels good to me. What do you think, Philip?
Feels very good. I'm looking here at epiphany, which is a little bit of a bigger word, but it is a very powerful word. And it has several definitions. Interesting with words, sometimes the different definitions are sort of all packed into one experience that you're having, like now when we see epiphany in that deck, where that was part of the reading, right? The word epiphany that appeared?
It was in the reading. It actually is not a word that I generally use, but I'm going to incorporate it more. I like the way it sounds. There's something magical.
Yeah.
Just epiphany.
Here's what it means for people that, since it's not your everyday word. A couple meanings: an appearance or manifestation, especially of a divine being. That's one part of an epiphany. Or another definition is usually a sudden manifestation or perception of the essential nature or meaning of something. And it might be an intuitive grasp of something very simple and striking.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
And that sounds like oracle's an intuitive grasp of something that's simple and striking.
Right. And actually, since we started, I wanted to mention some different things are happening, and I actually am doing 2 different things. So it's hard to say for sure how much of it comes from miracles. Although according to my pendulum, I measured it, and it's 80% miracles that are causing this change. And what it is I'm sleeping better. I'm sleeping more soundly, and I'm happier. Just feeling happier, which I would think would relate to sounder sleep. So it's something actually you can affirm in the morning and the evening if you want, and just see how it affects your rest. Have you noticed that, Philip, too?
Yeah, lately I've been having some deeper, more uninterrupted sleep, and feeling you wake up and you feel very rested and ready for the day, rather than kind of a little bit of a hangover, grog
Right.
starting the day.
Yeah. Anything else you've noticed?
About
just anything else seem different to you?
It just seems like there's a lot more support. People are generally interested in angels. It's pretty much out there, and miracles. And just it's in almost all the religions, but it's in the culture, and that I think that is bringing something higher where we're all coming from, originating into where we are humanly. So I think when you feel connected to that more consciously.
No, you be quiet. I'm sorry. We have 2 dogs, and they're arguing about who should be in my lap right now. They're little miracles, but sometimes they can also be challenges. This one is very smoochy.
Yeah. Foxy.
Right.
Okay. So
you go over here.
Anyways, it's in the culture. It's out there in our background collectively and individually. Angels, miracles. And when you bringing that in more consciously by doing something like drawing a card and saying the miracle reframe, as we're doing today and are going to share more, you just feel, I think, more support. You feel like more things are going the right way, and you have just a lot more support on different levels. It's very powerful. It actually gives you a lot of security and safety, interestingly enough, too.
Right. I think it feels good. That was what I was noticing too. And talking about it feels good. And doing the meditations with it, and also in combination, excuse me, it's allergy season, in combination with the oracles has been really, to me, so much fun, and it doesn't take that much time. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But for now, I wanted to go to the second one that I got the second day. I have another oracle deck. This is a different one called Work Your Light. Somebody wants to be the dominator here today. You have to go down. They're also gymnasts, these dogs that we they can jump all over the place. Anyhow, so this one, the card that I got, Align Your Life, it asked the question, which I thought was so appropriate: what in your life is no longer in alignment with who you truly are and needs to change? And I think it's especially related to miracles. Like, okay, so before we started this, we were in this reality. Now we're in this maybe more elevated reality. So what needs to change so that I'm actually in harmony? My vibration is in harmony with it, which might have to do with your perspective on yourself, your ability to release fear and open to love. It can be many things, but I think it's such a profound question, and so appropriate when you say, well, now I'm going to open to this vibration, which may be higher than anything you've ever really attempted to resonate with. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I just encourage people to try this, because it's very easy to do, as Jane was saying, and the results can be pretty immediate and carry forward into your everyday life, and kind of put you in a new reality.
Right. Yeah. And there were a couple of things, other things that said it was dare to blossom. And I think that that's like, it really is, you're being called to let go of who you once were, or things that you once defined yourself by, and embrace who you truly are, to courageously step into the person you came here to be, into authenticity, to embrace your uniqueness. I thought that was
It's
beautiful.
interesting. Letting go will actually help you find who you truly are. It's usually you think you have to hold on to everything tightly to keep your identity and world intact, and it really works just the opposite. It's being practical and grounded, but it's also letting go and exploring and having life as an adventure, as we sometimes say here at Awakenings Institute.
Yeah, and holding on tightly, that is kind of a 3D approach. It's like I have to hold on to all my money. I have to hold on to everything. And it can lead to actually being stuck, when what we want to do is be more in a flow.
It can be a lot of fear. And we see, sometimes we talk with people, and a lot of just wonderful people we've met through our courses and individual sessions, and just this holistic field. Sometimes an area that trips people up is the thing about the security, where they open up and their heart opens up and they see the miracle reframe and they feel it, but then they go back to trying to hold on, like, what if, it may not work out. I only have so much. I can't do this. And they're clenched, their shoulders are up, their body's in a protective mode. And protective from what? Probably is some healing, which, going further in the holistic healing field, would help. It's part of what we're here to clear too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that was really valuable. And excuse me, here's another one. And I also, again, used this, I apologize for this dog. He just won't pay attention. And I'm trying to block him from coming into my lap, but then he jumps on the desk. So anyhow, so this card was called Sisterhood of the Rose. And it was about, it says, walking this path, which is of that sisterhood, means being devoted to see and create beauty wherever you go. And at first I wasn't sure if it quite related, but it says the rose symbolizes the heart and sacred geometry of all life. You're being called to notice the beauty around you, particularly in nature, and hear the whispers of Mother Earth. It also says you are being called to contribute to the beauty of the world in your own way. It could be through your own creations, or through little things like how you dress, which I think is really a wonderful one, or picking flowers for your home. Every time you devote your time to creating beauty, you harmonize the planet, and a little more shift in vibration can be felt. I thought that was really profound when I got into it, and it reminded me of Archangel Jophiel, who is the angel who helps you to see your inner beauty and light. And Jophiel, actually, interestingly, is often often is experienced when she joins, and we can ask her to be with us now. She's often experienced, of course, with a beautiful pink light, but also with red rose petals flowing down. So you can just imagine those red rose petals and open to that. And it says you can surround yourself with beauty and create beauty wherever you go.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Hawaiian culture too. Why we've been very attracted, Jane and I, to, it's a very angelic, sweet culture with a lot of flowers and nature essence. And just very wonderful beauty,
Mhm.
harmony there.
Right. Yeah. And so many people obviously are drawn to that and travel to Hawaii for that reason. I think it just is so nurturing to be in that heart space. And like I said, I wouldn't have associated beauty with miracles right away, but it is, if you beautify your environment, it shows love for it. If you want to have a miraculous life and everything around you is in chaos, your car is just like a dump. You look in some people's cars, we do when we're out sometimes, and we look, and it's like it's a it's a dump. And if you have closets that are full of things that you no longer need, it's again another way of looking at the last part of letting go of the things that are not in alignment with who you really are, and opening to the beauty in the world, which is miraculous. When you think of nature, when those awesome times in nature, it does feel miraculous. It's kind of like, wow, this is just incredible. And incredible
Right.
is miraculous.
When Jane and I, where we met in years ago in our 20s in the Gurdjieff Ouspensky School, one of the esoteric teachings was these what they called higher hydrogens. And I think we can translate it today in that energy of what we're seeing, feeling has a vibration and a higher or lower vibration. So, if you have the like the vibration of a Mona Lisa has a very high vibration, or a Bach, or just Ave Maria or something is very elevating, and it nourishes the soul. We really get a tangible feeling of it. And contrary, very low things, very discordant, actually brings us down and separates us and fragments us.
Right. And it is another way of looking at your birthright, is really to be everything you can be, which is recognizing and also, I guess, communicating the beauty from within you. And when it mentioned the part about the way people dress, I think that is, in many ways in our society, it's really it's not valued all that much. People walk around in jogging shorts, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but just dress in a way that makes you feel like it's you. And even if you're not going out, dress nicely for yourself and maybe for those in your family.
Yeah, it's an expression of yourself.
Right. And it makes a difference to me. I dress well, even if Philip's not here. The dogs love it.
Yeah, I remember the story about Bernard Berenson, who was a art critic, I think, in the 1950s, and he had like a Scottish or something, had a tweed suit and a tie and a very well-trimmed beard. And he wrote that, even though he knew in the day he might have days, especially toward the end of his life, where he wouldn't even be seeing anyone, but he still put himself and dressed himself well, took care of himself, had very good hygiene, because he wanted to do that for himself.
Right. And like Philip said, it evokes the soul. There are different energies in different things. Well, you can tell with words, like some of the words that people use, they kind of startle you in a negative way. And then there are words, well, like epiphany. And just saying epiphany feels good.
You're epiphanous. Epiphanous. I don't know if that's a word.
Right. Well, and I don't want to mention any of those words, but we hear them so often. And actually, a lot of times we have a hard time finding any movies that we want to see, because they're so dark, and it just right away seems to drag you down. And language is part of it. So there are many different ways of experiencing beauty and communicating with beauty in mind. So it looks like it's just about time for our meditation. And we're going to focus on the practice that we do, which I would say, if you have 5 minutes, you have enough time. There's kind of the the basic part of it, and then there are a few things you can do to amplify the effectiveness of it and to lift your own spirits up higher. The first one is to imagine rising to a higher place. And Philip is going to guide us in doing that in a moment. It can be one thing we often use with clients is a mountaintop, a lofty mountaintop with a magnificent panoramic view. That's a wonderful one. Philip is going to take us to the top of the world, which has kind of a magic magic tone to it that feels miraculous. So there's that. And also inviting the beings of light, like Archangel Metatron, Archangel Jophiel. And I think we'll invite one or two in our meditation here in a minute to join us on the top of the world too. So there are those two things. And the third thing, which is actually part of the basic process, is to use continuous tapping with EFT, the emotional freedom techniques, as you're focusing on the miracle reframe, on that phrase. And that's the basic technique, actually, is focusing on the phrase, and we'll demonstrate tapping through the points as part of that meditation. Any others you'd want to note, Philip? Anything else come to mind that might elevate it more? Okay, so we'll do that. And Philip is going to start us out by guiding us to the top of the world.
Yeah, let's go to the top of the world together. This should be a good experience. A lot can happen up there.
Right.
So you're breathing and relaxing, and if you want, you can close your eyes to help you relax further. And with every breath you take, you become a little more relaxed, a little more centered, a little more spacious, just letting go, tuning into your body as it relaxes a little more from head, midsection, and legs and feet, just waves of relaxation. And as you feel more and more relaxed now, you can feel lighter and lighter as well. And as you become even lighter, you start to drift up easily, effortlessly, seamlessly, going up, drifting up higher and higher. And before you know it, you are at the top of the world, the creative realm, the imaginal realm, where dreams are born or modified. Amazing things can happen in this wondrous, awesome place of pure potential. So now we are at the top of the world, Jane.
Yeah, that feels so wonderful. And what I wanted to do is to raise my arms out, like kind of embracing all of the energy of the universe that is around us. So you can see all the stars and just sense all of those beings of light who are there with us. And that made me think of that kind of open arms position actually is a very powerful one. And I would think even if you just feel what you feel, if you want to hold your arms up and just welcome all of the universe around you to be present in your mind. Another very simple thing when you meditate, rather than kind of slouching over, is to have a straight spine, because the energy flows through your body most effectively when your spine is straight. And of course, thinking miracles, magic, wonders, things are happening beautifully, and there is beauty within me and all around me. It tends to actually, your body tends to straighten up anyhow. Whereas if you start talking about fear and sadness, it slouches. So we want to go back to miracles and magic. And with that, I'd like to invite in one of the wonderful angels who is actually one of the most joyful, is an archangel named Raziel, who's like the magician of the angelic world. So we can invite him to join us in this meditation and ask him to bless us with what often flows from him, is rainbow of light. You might experience it as swirls of colors. I experience it as sparkles of all of the colors of the rainbow. And just feel all of those colors flowing around you and invite them into your body. You can invite the perfect colors to go to where they're needed in your body to lift your spirits and raise you up to balance. And imagine also letting go of anything you don't need now, what we talked about earlier, energetically. Just releasing anything you don't need, anything you're holding on to that's old and it's not you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go. It can flow down through your body, back into the earth, and it can be neutralized and actually transformed back into light. So nothing is wasted. And then you can also even invite those rainbow sparkles or the rainbow light into all of the cells of your body. The cells are all intelligent, and when we invite that light into each of the cells, I can feel it. My body starts to tingle. I can feel that right now. And the sparkles, I think sparkles of light, they're sparks of light. They especially, I think, affect everything, the cells. Feeling that sparkling energy around you. So these are all things you can do, and the basic process is now what we're going to do. And that is to repeat the phrase. It could be, I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now, or just shortening it to anything is possible and miracles are happening now. And I'm going to repeat it a number of times while doing the tapping. And I'll show you while I'm doing that, the tapping. So you're tapping with your index finger and your middle finger, starting on the top of your head. And we're saying anything is possible and miracles are happening now. Switching to the inside of your eyebrows. Anything is possible and miracles are happening now. Side of the eye, anything is possible and miracles are happening now. Going down under your eye, anything is possible and miracles are happening now. To under your nose, anything is possible, miracles are happening now. To the chin, anything is possible and miracles are happening now. Your collarbone's kind of under the collarbone, right at the end there. Anything is possible and miracles are happening now. Hugging yourself and tapping where your hands hit on the sides. Anything is possible. Miracles are happening now. And ending with what we call the reset process. So you're tapping, it's a little different, kind of like a butterfly or a hummingbird fluttering on the top of your head, not hitting it hard. Just anything is possible. On both sides, it's balancing both sides of your brain and integrating it into your mind and then into your heart. Another nice breath. Miracles are happening now. Excuse me. So you can do that for a couple minutes. One round of tapping and repetition. That works for me. And what do you notice, Philip, when you're doing that?
I just feel lightening up and letting go and feeling very, it sort of opens up the right brain. It sort of makes you in the moment now, relaxed.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Expansive.
Mm-hmm. And I've noticed, well, the miracle reframe, like I said, just repeating it a few times, I can't help but smile. You know, it makes me so happy.
Yeah. It's a great combination, the miracle reframe and tapping, the continuous tapping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And adding the tapping through the points with EFT, it's like it's a tune-up for your meridian system. So if you tap on all those points, you're actually sending energy through all of your meridians. And I find it, even when I think I'm feeling pretty good, I do it and I think, wow, I didn't even know I could feel better, but I feel better. And for EFT users, you can choose something you want to clear, like even though I have this fear of failure or whatever it is, I know that anything is possible and miracles are happening now. and do EFT, do the tapping with that. So it's just wonderful. It's easy. It's quick, I think. And we're doing it every day, and I plan to continue. I don't know if I'm going to ever stop doing it every day. I just feel like it's such a wonderful, uplifting, and simple thing to do to raise my vibration. And of course, adding an oracle card can be even more powerful. I think I'm just going to draw one for the heck of it for ourselves as a group with our miracle. So I'm going to draw it from this Work Your Light oracle deck that I mentioned. Has some very nice kind of spiritual messages. So this is for all of us.
And if anyone experiments or does this, let us know. We'd love your feedback just through Facebook here, message us, or go to our website, gettingthrough.org, gettingthru.org, and let us know how it's going.
Yes, that'd be great. So I'm going to pick the card now, and the card, this is interesting. The card I have is called Lemuria, Creating Heaven on Earth. It's happening. That's almost self-explanatory, with miracles that we can create heaven on earth.
Synchronous.
Yeah, I am going to look it up though. This one, you have to kind of look it up to find the page that it's on. So it's on 114. That's so interesting, creating heaven on earth. Okay, so it says Lemuria is one of Earth's lost lands where heaven really was a place on earth, a time before we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. In Lemuria, life worked in harmony. All beings were seen as equal, and we were deeply reverent to Mother Earth. We knew that a mosquito was no worse than us and the sun no better. Perhaps you too believe that heaven can really be a place on earth. Perhaps you are part of the transition team who are at a soul level devoted to creating this kind of harmony on the planet now. Thank you for wanting to do this. I think that's probably enough to get the idea. And it is, I think all of the people who watch this, who join us in the circle, are of that same mind that we can create a heaven on earth, or we can lift earth to a place where we're closer to heaven. So that's a beautiful message. Any thoughts on that, Philip?
No, I would just second that. I mean, I think that really sums it up really well, that card, what we've been talking about.
Yeah, it feels like a real validation of the approach, and also that it is something that is valuable for us in terms of doing what we want the Circle of Love and Light to do, to help us to create a more loving world where everyone can be honored and nurtured.
Mm-hmm.
So that feels really good. Now, I don't see any comments here. I don't know if I'm actually looking over at I'm looking at the Enlightened World. Let's see. What happens is when I open it, then I start hearing myself talking. But I guess that no one has commented. If anyone has joined us, thank you. And we do appreciate your comments and letting us know who you are and where you're from. So any other thoughts on that, Philip?
No, that feels nice and complete for now.
Okay, the one thing that we do want to do is envision a more loving world, a more miraculous world. I often bring out my little globe, and just all of the love and light you are sensing, just open to sending that out. And you can always focus on a place, a specific place you want to send it, like the Ukraine. Could be anywhere, your own community. to the people whose hearts need lifting in our nation and around the world, who are suffering and they're stuck in that mud and mire. There is a way out for all of us. And no, I think the basic idea of embracing love and light and being being that is that you become like a source of light, and you're shining that light all the time. Whenever you're in that place, right? You're radiating that out. It's not like you have to do anything other than be it. And I've heard in some places that for many people, that's all that's needed. If you think that you're not important, that you don't matter, that matters. Being everything you can be matters to everyone. And so I imagine then the world, and with all the points of light, and as they become brighter and more numerous, the whole world shines more brightly with love. And that to me is the goal, because if we, like I said before, if we were all in that place, none of the problems we have would exist anymore. There would be no war, certainly, if we were all coming from a place of love. Everybody would put down their guns and go home. We would nurture each other, so there would be no starvation. There are plenty of resources on this globe for all of us. It's not like there is a lack. It's because of greed that some people are lacking and some people are on a very different end of the scale. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can all be abundant. We can all open to miracles. We can all care for one another and care for the globe, care for the animals and plants. Thank Mother Earth herself. I notice when I thank Mother Earth, I feel a beautiful blessing of energy come up through the earth to me. Everything is alive. Everything has a spirit. And we can be part of that miraculous world right now. So that's what we're here for. Any other thoughts, Philip, on being that light for the world?
No, I think that's the mission here, and probably most people listening to this, just to surround yourself in resources and people, and keep remembering it and doing practices like we were sharing today of continuous tapping with the miracle reframe, and maybe going to the top of the world, doing those things regularly, and that becomes more the reality you're living in.
Right. Yeah. And if you're not familiar with EFT, we have a very extensive website with different parts to it where you can learn about a lot of different things. And one of them is learning about EFT. And you can start actually by going to gettingthrough.org, which is gettingthru.org. People sometimes have a hard time getting that in their head. So it's gettingthru.org/learn-EFT. And that will take you to that part of the website where there are resources. You can look at where the tapping points are. You can get started. There are some free offerings for that. And you can explore other parts of the website too. There's one if you want to know about Awakenings Institute and our nonprofit mission. It's at gettingthru.org/awakenings. And we mentioned briefly that we just completed a course on working with abundance with angels, oracles, EFT, and more. And you can find that on our website too. It's available. Do you remember the URL for that?
tinyurl.com/abundant-living.
Right. And that's the tiny URL is because the gettingthru.org URL is pretty long, but it'll take you right there. And you can find out more about the circle at circleofloveandlight.org. And we have Philip is here sometimes. I have also some beautiful co-hosts Gretchen Comer and Lula Mora, and we have guests. So I hope you can join us often. Any other things you want to mention about offerings, courses coming up, anything?
Well, we have our coaching and healing. We have a very in-depth one-year training with EFT, spiritual kinesiology, coaching, angels, lots of things. If you people really want to go deeply and learn with us and with a wonderful small group, that's the tiny URL for that one is tinyurl.com/HOL coach. So people might want to check that out if they want to go really deeply into these kind of subjects and coaching and healing.
Right. And that one transforms lives because it is the reason it's a year-long program is because it goes deep and teaches all kinds of profound ways to heal and to counsel and coach others and yourself. And it's really wonderful. I think Philip also offers a free strategy session. If you want to have information about it, just ask about it. He'll answer your questions and he's happy to talk to you. So I think that's about it for today then, isn't it?
Yeah, and just to thank, there was a comment, a message from Shanti Deva from Sweden, who really enjoyed the tapping meditation.
Oh, good.
And it mentions Lemuria, going to Lemuria.
Oh, there I see.
The place that time forgot has sometimes been referred to, Lemuria.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. Okay, and final thought. Oh, two final thoughts. One is also you can send love and light through time and miracles. So you can send now, just imagine sending the miracles, the love and the light and everything that you want, the beauty, send it all out to the week ahead. I'd like to thank Archangel Metatron for joining us, Archangel Jophiel and Archangel Raziel. I think their blessings are just invaluable. I think it's hard to state how much support they provide and how they can transform our lives. They certainly have ours. So thank you to all of the beings of light.
Thank you.
I also want to mention that there are ways you can support the circle. You can like our page, and somehow there's a place where you can rate it and give it 5 stars, which would be nice. You can also share this video on Facebook with your friends. So just click share and send it out to others. It just is a wonderful opportunity for anyone who's interested. You can also invite your friends to join you in the circle and share what you're learning and share the miracle reframe and your results. So there are many opportunities here. We offer you many blessings this week and always, and wishing you many miracles. So have a wonderful week, everybody. We'll see you again next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.